Are we live? Are we live? What is going down, everybody? I'm just making sure that we all the screens are in the right place. I only got one monitor, hey? And I see there's a few people in there already. I'm looking at 17 different things because I haven't done this in like 5 weeks because it's been that long since we've had previews or news or I wasn't sick or I wasn't in a different country. So we're here. What is going down? Nathan and Taylor and Nathan and... Oh, man, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. It's going to be awesome. I just have to... I just got to make sure the chat is live and I'm live. I'm recording so I can turn this into a podcast. I've got a couple Canadian things here. I've got Canadian Coconadian... And I don't know which way I got to hold it. Right there. And I've got Canadian Club. This is what I've been drinking. This is my official drink of the Lord of the Rings CCO live stream. Canadian Club, mixed ready. And Matthew, what's up? You made it. All right. Here, let's cheers to you. Taylor, Command Fest Edmonton. Can't wait. Yeah, me neither. So pumped. I got a card for you. It's in the works. It's base coated. It's ready to go. It's going to probably be done this week. So I hope that that's exciting for you. It's exciting for me because I get to challenge myself with something unique, interesting, cool, and steampunky. That's the theme, right? Steampunk. So just real quick for everybody who's businessing and coming in, tuning into the podcast, because the audio-only podcast is where we get most of the downloads, views, listens, whatever you call it. Commander Cookout, live stream. We're talking about Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. We're here. If you want to support the channel, patreon.com/CCO podcast gets you access to all of the greatest community in Magic, deck lists, camaraderie, influence the way that the content sounds. Talk to me about Lord of the Rings. I woke up to a message this morning from good friend Nathan, friend of the show. Nathan says, okay, so here's the thing about Merry Addoc and Éowyn. Is it because Merry stabbed the Witch King and then Éowyn stuck him in the face? Or, like, what's the deal about how the Witch King died? And we're probably going to talk about that, right? We're probably going to talk about that when we see the card, either Merry Addoc, Witch King Slayer, Éowyn, Witch King Slayer, and or the Witch King. We're going to talk about all that stuff coming up. But before any of that, you can see the thumbnail on the screen. I tweeted the news to the world, and I'm a little bit of a humble brag here. A little bit of a humble brag. This is, oh, man alive. So I'm playing a game in Minneapolis. And, okay, so it's Friday of Minneapolis. We've been there for over 24 hours, and it's just been a party. It's been food and drinks and staying up late. And I'm in the middle of a game with the Archimandrite. And I'm at 125 life. This is, like, important. And my good friend Steve Smitty, friend of the show, says, like, take 8 or whatever. And he's playing Doran the Siege Tower, one of his oldest decks. Black, white, green butt damage, right? Like, toughness damage. And I've got a 2/2 pro red... The Soul Sister, creature enters the battlefield, I gain a life, protection from black and red. And I'm impervious to his commander because it's black. And I'm at 125 life, and then a couple guys come up to me and are like, hey, the Lord of the Rings preview panel's on right now. So I, like, drop my cards, I'm, like, running over, and I'm catching, and I'm tweeting, and I'm doing all the thing, and I ended up losing the game at 125 life because... Doran attacked me for 21, and I had a pro-black guy, so I say to Zoidberg, Jesus, my friend Andrew, I go, hey, you know my guy had pro-black, right? This is like the next day. We're having burgers, and I'm like, hey, you know my guy had pro-black, right? Oh, well. Anyways, so I run away from that game, and I get to the panel right after the Doctor Who stuff, and like, crucify me. I'm not a... what is it? Whovian? I'm not from Whoville. I don't know anything about Doctor Who, but I get there to see the Commander Master stuff, and of course the Lord of the Rings stuff. And those pictures that you see on that thumbnail there are pictures that I took from my phone, the potato pictures that you see, and tweeted them out. And that's fine and well, but the next day, this is Sunday, I'm going and having a drink with a lady that organizes events for Pastime Games. You know, I'm schmoozing and we're friends and we meet up at events and, you know, you go buy each other drinks and you know the deal. You know the deal. And she says, yeah, some guy was posting like pictures right from the event. And I'm like, yeah, I did. That was me. I did that. It was like the funnest thing. I was like tweeting and Facebooking, Discording. I was like sharing them to Instagram, my story and stuff. And she was like, hey, is your picture like a guy and his wife? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And she's like, oh yeah, check this out. And she shows me her phone or whatever. And I'm like, that's me. Oh, so fun. So fun to actually have people in the big Facebook group. It's like 71,000 members. And just to be part of sharing the news with the world on my favorite set, my favorite thing, Lord of the Rings or Tolkien's Legendarium is my favorite thing, even more than I like Magic. And having that be mediated by Magic was just so special. It was just so fantastic. And like people saw that I was like the guy tweeting and they were like getting out of the way and ducking their head and stuff, right? So just to have that happen was just the funnest thing. So you know what? Fucking cheers to me, okay? So that was my story while we're waiting for people to show up or whatever. And I'm just opening up a couple things here. I've got my screen on mute and we're gonna chat. We're gonna chat because because it's gonna be frickin' Lord of the Rings live stream. We've got preview cards and we've got some stuff to discuss and a little bit. I'm just checking the Discord here and checking Twitter and just we're gonna get into it in a second. I'm just making sure that we got everything here. Sorry for the delay, everybody. I was drinking and setting up a new TV. I got a TV out on my patio now, right outside, and I had to like take a bunch of siding off and put the Google Home thing in there, and my hands from twisting all the siding and stuff. So we're chilling. My brother was gonna be here with me, and he doesn't know anything about Magic. He knows nothing. Him and his girlfriend, his girlfriend. Whatever, they've been together for like 5 years, and they're big Lord of the Rings fans. Big movie fans, and she's reading the books for the first time, and I'm on Return of the King for maybe like the 20th time, and they were gonna sit in. So I guess let me know in the comments, or if you're listening to this not live, I guess let me know if you want that. They're very interested in Lord of the Rings. They're very interested in Tolkien's, not greater legendarium, but they're very interested in themes of Tolkien and how it can be used as a moral compass and how I've related the text to my life and my life to the text and how I kind of use it as a guide. If you're into that, and if you want somebody who's a little bit greener than I, who knows nothing about Magic, but is interested in the themes and the art and the characters, if you want that kind of, I guess, blind eye to look at it, let me know, because I'm down. CCO Podcast on Twitter. If you're in the Discord, you let me know. If you're listening live, you let me know in the comments, because I'll do it, and it's fun. And my brother's down, and he's like, I'd be so nervous. And his girlfriend would be like, yeah, me too. I don't know what I would say. Do I look at the camera? What do I do, right? So I would totally be down to do that. And I think it would be totally fun because we all love Tolkien. That's why we're here. That's why we're listening. That's why I'm doing it. We all love Magic. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing it, right? So again, CCO Podcast, Discord if you're in there. commandercookout@gmail.com. Let's make it happen. Funny story about commandercookout@gmail.com. So we're sitting at the airport in Toronto, and we're strung out. We are like hanging on a clothesline, waiting to get onto our plane for our 3-hour flight. That's actually a 5-hour flight because we lose 2 hours. And we got our CCO shirts on like this, right? And guy comes up to us. This doesn't look like CCO to me. Like, this looks like the Commander logo, right? But I guess it's CCO to other people, which is fantastic because that's our logo. And he says, "Hey, you guys are CCO, right?" And we go, "Yeah." We're just like, eyeballs are drooping down to our knees. "Yeah." "Cool, man. Where are you going?" "Saskatoon." "Okay, awesome. I'll see you there." He gets on the plane, and Brando and I are like, "Who is that guy? Who's that guy?" "I don't know, whatever." So we get on the plane, whatever. He's sitting behind me on the plane, and I hear him talking about "Yeah, I'm a pastor. I'm going to my friend's wedding. I'm not marrying them, but I know the priest that's marrying them." And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. We get off the plane, I'm getting my bag, and we're walking out of the airport, and he's like, "Are you guys like the Christian Coalition Outreach or whatever?" Oh, me and Brando jumped out of our skin. Fantastic moment. And I was like, "No, but if you know them, they stole our email," right? So it was funny. We'll tell the story on the cast, whatever. Let's get into Lord of the Rings. Let's get this out of here. Let's get that out of here. What's going on here? How do I... That. Nope. That. Okay, listen, no making fun of me for all the tabs I have open because I closed a bunch of them. Okay? Now, last time we were here, it was probably a month and a half ago, right? And we didn't have a bunch of what we have. So what I have in front of me is the Scryfall 26 cards that are available LTR. That is the 3-letter abbreviation, Lord of Rings, the Lord of the... whatever. We didn't have Bilbo, Call of the Ring, Delighted Halfling, holy smokes, let's talk about that card, Frodo, Gandalf. We didn't have a whole bunch of these cards. And I would like to take this opportunity to just talk about these cards. We have another panorama that I'm going to maybe try and look up. And we're just going to get into the cards. And if you want to get an in-depth look or listen to The Ring and The Ring Tempts You, Commander Ad Populum episode 239, I just did an in-depth, it was 37 minutes of just The Ring Tempts You. Is it good? Is it flavorful? Does it stick to the lore? What do each step of the ring tempting you, is it accurate? Does it make sense? Thematically, mechanically, I did all of that. Now, we can get into it again if people want, again, at CCO Podcast, or hit me up in the Discord if you're a patron. We can get into it again, but today I'm not going to do that. Today, we are going to drink some beer, and we are going to look at new cards, because these are the ones that I shared with the world and was accredited for the next day when I had a drink with Candace and made Brando totally jealous. So, the first one we've got here, Bilbo Retired Burglar. And it's part of another panorama, which we have seen. This is the third one we've seen now. We've seen the big Pelennor Fields one, which we don't have any of the cards from yet. We've seen Frodo, Sam, Gollum, One Ring, 4-card panorama. We've seen that. And now we have 6-card Long Expected Party panorama. Long Expected Party is chapter 1 of Fellowship of the Ring, book 1. So when I talk about Lord of the Rings, or when I think about it, it isn't book or novel or volume 1, 2, 3, Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King. It's book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because Fellowship's got book 1 and 2, Two Towers has book 3 and 4, and Return of the King has book 5 and 6. So book 1, chapter 1, Long Expected Party. Bilbo has his 111th birthday. He turns 11D1. And we have a depiction of that. I'm going to see if I'm going to move my beer here. And I'm going to see if I can look it up. I got to turn my computer and stuff because I should have had this up, but I don't. So let's see here. LOTR MTG panorama. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we can get here. We're probably going to get some altars. We're going to get the Pelennor Fields. Oh, here, look at somebody's got the real cards. Oh, you know what? You know what this one was? You know what this was? If you're watching on the live stream, these were the big cards that were featured at the Commander Party on Friday night of MagicCon Minneapolis. That's what this was. So cool. I wish I was there. If I was there, I can probably say this now. If I was there, I would have 110% tried to steal these. Yes. I would have collected them up, and I would have stacked them and put them under my arm, and I would have ran. And I would have not looked back. And I would have shoved, and I would have had these. Had I been there. I wasn't there, though. So that is the panorama. You've got Lobelia Sackville Baggins, Wizards Rockets, Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, Delighted Halfling, CEDH staple, mind you, Bilbo, Retired Burglar, and Frodo Baggins. So some of these cards were new. Actually, I think all of them were new that night. All of them were new. So let's look at them. Let's go back to Scryfall now that you've seen. There it is. Here's the picture. Let's see if we can get a big one. There it is. So there's Gandalf, Rockets, Lobelia, Delighted Halfling, Bilbo in the middle on the bottom, and then Frodo along with like 75 other hobbits. It's kind of hard to make out that it's him, but he's there. And it was just so fantastic. There they are. So fantastic to see that and see those be tweeted from all the ballers, the big spenders. Nobody in our house in Minneapolis was there, but those were the big cards that were previewed, and I saw them, and I got tagged and tagged and tagged and tagged and tagged, and I was thinking, like, should I just get a cab there and try and steal them? Because that would just be so fantastic. But alas, I didn't, and now I don't. So here we go. Let's look at Bilbo. Bilbo number 1 here. 1/3 Halfling Rogue. Look at that, hey? Halfling Rogue, red, blue, 1/3. I kind of feel like all hobbits should be... I was going to say 1/1, but now I'm thinking 1/3 because they're remarkably resilient. So having high toughness is actually... like, that actually is pretty cool. I actually like that. So... let's see here. Let's get that out of there. There we go. Okay. When Bilbo, Retired Burglar, enters or leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. So let's talk about that in a minute. The ring tempts you whenever you bounce or blink him. Cool. Whenever Bilbo deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. That is Bilbo doing his thing. His thing being literally anything. He's a burglar. He's not trying to kill you, hurt you, murder you, maim you. He's not doing anything. That's why he deals 1 damage. So it raises the question, why isn't he a 0/1? Well, because a 0/1 deals 0 damage to you, and this ability would not trigger. Now, could you make him red-blue and make him a 0/3? So you got to pump him before he can actually attack you, which incentivizes you to make Bilbo your ring bearer so he actually deals damage. Okay, so let's look at the ring. So again, I covered this in Commander Ad Populum, but we'll cover it real quick here. We'll cover it real quick here. The ring? I guess these are all the things that have ring in them, hey? Okay, let's try that again. The ring tempts you. So let's read the back first. The ring tempts you. This is an ability. I'm going to go through it quickly. Again, I've been through this. I've been through it. As the ring tempts you, you get an emblem named the ring. If you don't already have one, then your emblem gains the next ability and you choose a creature you control to become or remain the ring bearer. The ring can tempt you even if you don't have a creature. Sure. So your ring emblem will get the next ability even if you don't have a creature. The ring gains its abilities in order from top to bottom. Once it gains an ability, it has that ability for the rest of the game. Very important. Each time the ring tempts you, you must choose a creature if you control one. So if you have a creature, it has to become your ring bearer if you have the ring emblem. It has to. Okay. That's important. We'll probably cover that in future streams. Each player can have only one emblem named the ring and only one ring bearer at a time. Okay, so the ring, this is what it does now. First ability. Your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So if Bilbo was a 0/3, nothing could block it unless it had 0 power. Cool. Whenever the ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. This is why you would want to attack with a burglar with 0 or 1 power, so you can immediately draw a card, then discard a card. That's your loot. That's your loot. And that's funny because it's like a magic term. I'm going to loot, draw, and discard, right? Okay. Next ability, the third time the ring tempts you. Whenever your ring bearer becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller sacrifices it at end of combat. That's a mechanical thing to make sure that the game progresses. Okay. And the fourth ability, the fourth time the ring tempts you, it gains this ability. Whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. And people have been saying, like, that's not that powerful, that's not that good. Again, I covered it, Commander ad Populum 239. Search it up. Check this out. I get the emblem, the rings tempt me 4 times, let's say in 1 turn. Oh, heaven forbid, 1 turn, right? This is me attacking with a 1/3 Bilbo the Burglar, okay? This guy right there drinking a beer. Enters the battlefield, the ring tempts me. Let's say that's like the 4th time and I hit him with a Lightning Greaves or a Swiftfoot Boots. Deals combat damage. I'm going to create a treasure token. So I create a treasure token because he's not getting blocked. He's not getting blocked because the ring has tempted me 4 times. I'm going to create a treasure token. He's going to deal 1 damage. I draw a card and discard a card. You can't block, so the third ability doesn't really matter. And you're going to take 3 damage. So you're going to take 4, I create a treasure, I draw a card, I discard a card, which facilitates graveyard synergies. Like, that's really good. I'm going to get a whole bunch of value. And in Commander, I could equip that maybe to a 2-drop creature or maybe a 3-drop creature, and all the same stuff is going to apply. I'm going to deal 3 plus 3 plus draw a card. Like, that's really good. And if you block my 3-drop, your guy's going to die. It's better than people think. And the downside, I hear a lot of people talking about the downside not being there. Like, the ring should give you mega power and should have a mega downside. And I would counteract that argument by saying something like, that isn't how the ring works. And again, I covered this. The ring tempts you with power, but it doesn't actually provide you with power. The ring's purpose is to make you subservient to Sauron. And its only purpose is to get back to its master, the Lord of the Rings. And I think because there's no downside built into the mechanical The Ring in Magic, the downside is going to be built into the characters that we know are tempted by the ring. Denethor, Boromir, who else? The Witch King, Sauron. Now, Sauron is different because when he's tempted and when he has the ring, he's more powerful. He is the only one because he's the freaking Lord of the Ring. But everybody else is tempted by the ring and made weaker. And we'll see that reflected on their card. Whenever the ring tempts you, this bad thing happens. Or however many times the ring has tempted you, bad things happen, right? Orcs are going to have that. Boromir, Denethor. Who else is tempted by the ring like that? Let me think. Who's the orc? Who's the orc in Pelennor Fields that Pippin tricks? What is that guy's name? I'm sure we're going to get that card. We've been told that we're going to get a legendary creature for nearly every single named character in the book. And there's over 100. So I think that we're going to get the orc. Oh, man, what's his name? Not Ugluk. Ugluk is the Uruk-hai that's taking them to Isengard. What's the Mordor orc called? Oh, man. Okay, I got to look it up. Let's find out. We're learning right now. I'm drawing blank on his name. We almost named our cat. This. Named orcs, Lotr. Let's see. Azog, Bolg, Gorbag, Grishnak, right there. Grishnak. Maybe Grishnak, when he's tempted by the ring, he's going to get weaker and weaker. It's actually being tempted by the ring that is his downfall because he takes Merry and Pippin away from the group of orcs, right? So we're going to see that built in. We're going to see it built in. There's the ring. Whenever the ring tempts you, when Bilbo enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. I think that's fine. I think that all of the ring bearers and all of the main characters, or all of the characters in the Fellowship, should have a version of themselves that are tempted by the ring. They're all affected by it. They're all not subservient to it, but they all have a relationship to the ring because they're in the same company as the ring bearer. I think that's very important to represent in the game. I think that's hugely important, and I'm looking for that. And when I do like a review of the set or a top 5 biggest misses or biggest like hits, it's going to be like, how do you represent the ring as a character? Now, the ring is a card already, I get that. How do you represent it as a character? Because it kind of is. Especially for movie fanatics or people who've only ever seen the films, the ring is a character very much so in the movies, where in the books it's a little bit more, it feels a little bit more like an object, a thing that people think about or talk to themselves about, versus actually being an influential character. At least that's how I feel film versus book, right? So that's Bilbo. I think it's great. He's great. Like he's a blink thing if you want to farm ring tempts you. Though if you farm that, you can only get 4 and then you're done. So you farm that 4 times and then you like max power Bilbo. That's fine. It's not too powerful. It's just fine. So Bilbo, everybody. He's a 11D1. Next one, Call of the Ring. This is the art on the collector booster. A little bit less colored. They must have dialed up the saturation and contrast or whatever for the collector booster, because this one looks a lot dialed back. But this is actually a really good card. It's an enchantment, black 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, the ring tempts you. Sure. The ring tempts you. even if it's already like fully charged, right? You've already gotten to the 4th ring tempts you ability. And regardless of whether or not you have a creature, the ring tempts you. So whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. Because when the ring tempts you, you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you can pay 2 life to draw a card. This is a 2 mana, pay 2 life, Phyrexian Arena that also buffs your creature. That creature, as the ring tempts you, if you attack with that creature, your ring bearer, you draw an additional card and discard a card as per the ring's second ability. This is a very strong card as long as you have a creature. Call of the Ring. Let's examine that a little bit. This is when the ring wants you to do something. Let's say there's a Nazgul present. Let's say you are standing at the crack of doom. Let's say you're Gollum. Let's say you're Samwise standing on the plains of Gorgoroth. The ring is affecting you, whether you hold it or no. Is this an accurate representation of it? It's going to tempt you. That's one of the representative things that they've chosen, and I think that that's fine. Again, I've talked about it. Commander ad Populum 239. Whenever you choose a creature as your ring bearer, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. I think that that's fine. Now, I'm not sure, like when you pair Call of the Ring with the art, with the flavor text, the ring is mine. That's what Frodo says right before he should let the ring go down into the cracks of doom, into the lava, and melt it. Is this representative of that moment? I don't know if this has enough gravitas. I'm not sure that this has enough oomph. I certainly don't think that the art matches that moment. I'm not being critical because this is obviously already designed and I'm not on the design team. But this seems like it's lacking a little bit for that flavor text. Now, Tolkien is very good at building and building and building and building. Longer sentences, building, commas instead of periods, so you're anticipating the end of the sentence or a quick turn at the end of the sentence. If you've ever read any of Tolkien's work, particularly the Lord of the Rings, out loud, and you can hear the phonetic structure where it's just like, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and several things happened all at one time, and then this happened. And then there's a one-liner. Then there's a one-line sentence. And it happens in the Silmarillion a little bit too. It happens here and there. But the ring is mine is one of those one-line sentences, single syllable words, the ring is mine, that just punches you. Especially after you read the whole novel and you spend hours and hours and weeks and months with these characters and you develop this relationship with them and you laugh and you cry and you cheer and all of the things that are the Lord of the Rings, to see Frodo get to the very end and spend every ounce of everything he ever had, and then he fails and he says, the ring is mine. And Sauron goes, wait a second, what? Fing, 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 fing. All the Nazgul go, whist, Mount Doom. We got him. Like, this is it, boss, right? This is it. We win. I don't think that this card represents that moment. But we haven't seen all of the rest of the set yet, right? So I'm not sure if there's more to represent. But this card's good. Like, I'm not knocking the card. The card mechanically as a magic card is good. The moment that the flavor text is making me think of, I'm left lacking. But let's move on. Delighted Halfling. Here's a card that does not leave me lacking. Oh, my lord. This card. I'm so happy this card's not mythic. 1/2. Halfling Citizen for green. Tap. Add colorless. Or tap. Add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana to only cast legendary spells. That spell can't be countered. Holy Jesus. That card is so good. That card got previewed at the preview stream, and everybody in the CCO house in Minneapolis and everybody on Twitter, everybody I've showed the card to since then in the last 2 weeks is like, I need 8. This card is so good. This could be the most prolific card in the set. I hope it's not. I hope it isn't. But this card is fantastic. Absolutely, like this is Birds of Paradise good. This is Noble Hierarch good. This is Commander Noble Hierarch. This gives you 1 mana of any color for your commander, and it can't be countered. This is Birds of Paradise mixed with Cavern of Souls. This card is so good, and I expect to see a bunch of different versions of it, and it to command, especially the foils, a very hefty price tag. This card is fantastic. Now, apart from being very, very, very good, it's got a pre-release, not stamp, but denotation on the bottom. Maybe it's a pre-release card. Maybe it won't be expensive. I don't know. But apart from being very good, it's kind of just there. It's kind of just there. It doesn't really, I don't know. It's a nondescript couple of hobbits in the Shire at Bilbo's birthday, and they're just chilling. There's no flavor text, so I can't really speak to it. I love the fact that there's 2 or 3 hobbits that are all jovial, having fun at the long-expected party. I think it's very reminiscent of the start of the journey, and I like that they showed the long-expected party, the jovial hobbits, the carefree hobbits at the start of the set. I like that they made us want to come into the set and be part of what they're doing. I think it's absolutely fucking genius that they showed the long-expected party cards, panorama, at a party, at the commander party for a Magic Con. Genius, brilliant marketing. And I don't know if they knew that or not, but fantastically orchestrated. Even if it was by accident, I'm giving them credit for it anyways, because that was fantastic. Fantastic to think that, and to do that. The only thing that would have been better is if at the Minneapolis after party on Saturday, if they did it again with new cards, then your good friend Ryan could have fucking stole some. But neither here nor there. So this card's great. The picture's great. The timing, showing off that card, that panorama, great. Fantastic. Let's move on. What else do we got? Frodo Baggins. This is the next card over. Let's give Frodo a read. I don't know, have we seen this card already? I don't think that we have. So, Frodo Baggins, white-green. I think we all expected hobbits to be white-green. They're white because they're good guys, and they're green because they live in fields and forests. That's the Shire, right? 1/3, just like Bilbo. That's not an accident. Just like Bilbo. Halfling Scout versus Halfling Rogue. Now, interesting that those 2 creature types can both be in your party. I don't think that's an accident at all either. Whenever Frodo Baggins or another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, the ring tempts you. Interesting. Whenever another named character comes into your story, you're thinking about the ring, you're being tempted by the ring, you're describing, fighting off, defending the ring. I think that's an interesting design choice. And again, not by accident. I don't think I'm finding a connection there because I'm looking. I think that's purposeful. I think that throughout the Lord of the Rings, Frodo is the ring bearer on purpose by secret. And I'm racking my brain to think of when that isn't the case, right? It is providence that he got that. Bilbo gave it up. He got it. The task was appointed to him. And it was a secret quest, right? So all of that jives with the ring tempting you whenever a new character enters the story. Very cool. But wait, there's more. As long as Frodo is your ring bearer, it must be blocked if able. That's interesting. That's interesting when we go back to the ring and the first ability says it can't be blocked by a bigger creature. So it must be, but it can't. We're going to draw a card on the second ability. Whenever it does become blocked, that creature's controller sacrifices the blocking creature at end of combat. Interesting. I'm not quite sure what to make of that yet. I'm not quite sure if that's a ring thing or a Frodo thing or neither. And when I say neither, I'm thinking of the limited environment and thinking, okay, the ring tempts you. We don't want to slow the game down. What about two-headed giant when everybody blocks everything so the other member of your two-headed giant can attack in for the win? There's usually a control deck and an aggro deck, right? I'm thinking that's a mechanical thing, but I'm willing to be wrong, and I would love for anybody to let me know in the comments or let me know on Twitter at CADPopcast or at CCO Podcast. Either or. If I can be a little bit critical, this art is kind of nondescript. Like, the guy on the right's got to be Frodo because he's got the cleft chin and the dark hair, and that is like a Frodo Baggins thing. And then there's like two kids. Who are they? Is that supposed to be Merry and Pippin? Is that just random Shire kids at the same party? I'm not sure. But I don't know. Fantastic because it's part of the same panorama, right? Let's move on. Gandalf, friend of the Shire. Well. Okay. We got the mono blue Gandalf. This is Gandalf the Grey. This is, again, at the beginning of the story. Chapter 1, Long Expected Party. Gandalf, friend of the Shire. Is he, though? Sure. Eyebrows stick out over the brim of his hat. Fantastic. I'll drink to that. 2/4, Avatar Wizard for blue 3. Guts Flash. You may cast sorceries as though they had flash. Well, that's frickin' good. Also, whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf, friend of the Shire, as your ring bearer, draw a card. Oh man, I could make an entire show, an entire podcast about this card. Oh my lord. I wish there was flavor text because this would be the perfect card. This would be the perfect card to just spend hours and hours and hours delving, just tunneling into. A 2/4 for 4 with flash is already good. You flash him in, and then you can cast a sorcery at flash speed. Like, that's good. If you've got like a sorcery that you need to cast and you got a bunch of mana open, that's a good card already. He's a wizard, so it's a relevant creature type. He's an avatar. That's interesting. That's interesting because he's... what's the word? Incarnate? Is that the right word? He's a Maiar. He's a Maya spirit incarnated in the body of an old man. Is avatar the right word for that? A spirit in a real, living, aging, old man body. Is avatar the right word for that? Should he be spirit wizard or avatar wizard? Or advisor wizard? That's what I wish. We'll see our fair share of advisors, though, I'm sure. Avatar wizard, I'm willing to discuss. Get at me. Is that the right way to describe what's happening in magic creature type terms? Gandalf and all of the Astari, or wizards, came over from Valinor. They are spirits that were created when the universe was created. And they came over guised as old men, purposefully to not use their powers, but to guide and to teach, to influence people. I'm going to say men because it's the third age, but people, the races of Middle Earth, they were to guide them. Is Avatar the right creature type to invoke that? I'm not sure yet. I think it might be a good one in terms of what magic has at their disposal. Now they could use a new creature type. I'm not sure. I want to say like incarnation, like anger. Is the creature type anger still incarnation? Let's see. Yeah, there it is. See, incarnation. Is that appropriate for Gandalf? Not anger, but here's another one. Glory. Glory. Incarnation, right? Is that appropriate? Not sure. Where are we here? Right here. Fantastic. Fantastic discussion point, right? So let's get into it. Sorceries, flash, cool. Is that because he's a wizard? Because he can do sleight of hand? Because he's smarter than you? That's what I have to assume. He's better than you are in every way because he's actually a spirit that was created when the frickin' universe was created. He's better than you. That's got to be what it is. Sorcery spell as long as it had flash. It's got to be because he's a wizard. It's got to be a wizard thing. Maybe in this interpretation or adaptation of Lord of the Rings, again, we have to see more cards, but maybe that's a wizard thing. Maybe we'll see Sauron and he'll do something similar, right? I'm willing to revisit. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, as your ring bearer, draw a card. Oh, man alive. Okay, so if we don't give Gandalf the ring, he's going to reward us. And it takes for... okay, so if you're a first-time reader and you haven't made it to the end yet, Gandalf not having the ring is one of the most important story points because Frodo offers him the ring in chapter 2, The Shadow of the Past. Frodo offers him the ring and he says, no, don't tempt me, Frodo, right? Like, Gandalf not having the ring is the most important and pivotal part of the story in the early part of book 1. Because you would think as a hobbit and as a first-time reader that Gandalf is the smartest, wisest, most learned, most powerful person in the Shire. It would make sense for him to have it. And he's a 2/4, so even mechanically, probably he's not going to be able to be blocked. And if you get tempted 4 times and Gandalf can't be blocked because he's the smallest guy in the field still, he's going to do 2, And then because you've been tempted by the ring 4 times, remember here, tempted 4 times, he's going to deal an additional 3. So in limited, Gandalf's potentially a 4-turn clock, right? It makes sense for Gandalf to hold the ring. But what's better than damage? What's better than power? Knowledge. Knowledge leads to every other piece of learning and emotion and thing that you can leverage for good in all of Tolkien. And this is the most, this is fantastic. That ability, if you don't choose Gandalf to be your ring bearer, draw a card. The best thing that you can do in Magic, the best thing to do is draw a card. And knowledge and understanding and patience just leads to all of the things, all of the themes. We talked about it on the second and third live stream that we did. Tolkien's themes. Patience, pity, friendship, empathy. Oh man, this card is just fantastic. It hits it. If I don't give Gandalf power, he will reward me in every other meaningful way. Superb. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. This card is fucking fantastic. Let's move on. I could continue just again tunneling into it, but we're gonna move on because we only talked about a couple cards so far. Here's another one. This is the top left in the panorama. Lobelia Sackville Baggins. What a bitch. Let's move on to drink 2. Let's see here. Lobelia Sackville Baggins. Mono black, hey? They gave a hobbit mono black halfling citizen. 2/3. So she's stronger than Bilbo. Hits him with her umbrella or something probably, hey? Black, 2, flash. She got flash? It's because you don't see her, hey? She sneaks up on you and she's like, give me all your spoons or something, right? Menace. When Lobelia Sackville Baggins enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from an opponent's graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Then create X treasure tokens where X is the exiled card's power. Okay. Oh man. Okay, how do we do this? Okay. Nathan, you're talking about Gandalf? Sounds great in your Niv Mizzet deck? Agreed. Sounds great in every deck ever. I think the ring is better than people give it credit for. Okay. When Lobelia enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from a graveyard. That's pretty good. It's graveyard hate. On a 3-drop 2/3 with flash. So you can get somebody's in response to Animate Dead, like Lobelia Sackville Baggins is going to give you the SB and she's going to get rid of your guy. That's already good. I'm reading it again here. Creature card from an opponent's graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Oh, so if it dies and then they try to get it back? This is okay, forget what I said. I'm thinking cast Grey Merchant to Asphodel, sacrifice it, get it back, sacrifice it same turn. That's the kind of thing that this is going to be good against. Pretty niche though, right? Enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from an opponent's graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Oh, okay, that's way not as good. It's way more niche. Okay. Okay. Then create X treasure tokens where X is the exiled card's power. I guess if you get a big creature, you can get lots of treasure, right? Now here's the thing. When Frodo or Bilbo go to the graveyard or leave to the Grey Havens, air quotes, go to the graveyard and go to the Grey Havens, you're going to get 1 treasure. That's not very good. I wonder who else we'll see, right? This is I think this is a good representation of. So when you start to read The Lord of the Rings, like at the very start, chapter 1, it's almost like you're reading the sequel to The Hobbit. Well, because you fucking are, Ryan. You're reading the sequel to The Hobbit. And it starts off very much like The Hobbit starts off. If you don't read like the foreword and the prologue and blah, blah, blah. If you just go right into chapter 1, Long Expected Party. It sounds and feels and seems like you're reading The Hobbit 2.0. And to have Lobelia Sackville Baggins be mentioned and be somebody plays with the Hobbit narrative and how the Hobbit sounds and feels. And I think this panorama and the introduction to the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth magic set to show this as the pre-release panorama and to have her be included is a nice touch because it ties a lot of the story and the culture of hobbits together. I like that. I don't think this card is very good. I think you flash this in when somebody's big creature dies and you net treasures from it on not your turn, and that's fine. It'll benefit you in your treasure deck, probably your Rakdos treasure deck when it does. And or you play halflings or citizen tribal. Is that a thing? Because I think that's fine. I think that's all you can ask for with this card. I don't think that this is going to be a player. But it's a nice touch, and it ties into chapter 1 of Lord of the Rings, which ties back to The Hobbit. And I bet you before the end, before the final CCO Lord of the Rings live stream, I'm willing to bet that this card and this character will tie back in some meaningful way. And like a bunch of the other characters that I expect to see more than 1 or 2 cards of, we're going to see Lobelia again. I think we're going to see her again at the story, or again in the set. And it's going to help tell the complete story of the Lord of the Rings that non-book readers are going to say, wait, what? And they're going to be intrigued and they're going to be interested. And I'm not going to give that away for people who've only watched the films, but I think we're going to see her again. That's where I'll leave that. And book readers are going to be like, yes, I understand. Let's keep going. What else haven't we seen? Oh, wow, here's one that I previewed myself. Sauron the Necromancer. Well, here's the thing. I wish that we didn't get a Sauron card. I wish that we didn't get one. He's the nameless, unnamed, unseen enemy, and that makes him more terrifying. But, like Planeswalkers, like any big name character, he is the one that people come to see. And he sells the ticket, right? He's the Tom Brady. He's the Tiger Woods. The whomever. Sauron the Necromancer. 4/4 Avatar Horror. There's that creature type again. Avatar. We're gonna look at that. We're gonna look at that and say, hey, is that right? Again, Sauron, Gandalf, same order of magnitude. They're both Maiar. They're both spiritual beings. Look at the Sauron, the lidless eye. This is one that we've seen before. This is an avatar. Okay, now we're starting to paint a picture. Let's look at Gandalf here. Avatar wizard again. Okay, so avatar is maybe the designation that they give to the Maiar. This is somebody who's taken a corporeal form, whether it be physical or otherwise. In Sauron's case, this is the designation that they've given them. So we'll have to watch out for that to make sure that other Gandalf cards and Sauron cards or other Radagast cards. Let's look at Radagast. Where's he? Where's the Radagast? Where's the Radagasty? Where is he? Where is he? What the ass? He's not here. Am I just missing him? Am I blind? Wow, frick. Oh, right there. Avatar Wizard. Yep, there he is. Avatar Wizard. Huh. That's the designation they've given him. So, anyways, let's look at this. 4/4 Avatar Horror of Menace for black 3. Whenever Sauron the Necromancer attacks, exile target creature card from your graveyard. Whenever he attacks, exile a creature. Got it. Create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that card. When he attacks, exile a guy, make an attacking copy. Got it. Except it's a 3/3 black wraith with menace. At the beginning of your next end step, exile the token unless Sauron is your ring bearer. Oh, wow. First and foremost, I expect to see the ring wraiths, the black riders, ring wraiths, the Nazgul, whatever they're going to be called. I expect to see them be 3/3s. Because this is making whatever random creature a wraith. And for consistency's sake, I would expect to see other wraiths, wraith, be 3/3, except for the Witch King, which might be more powerful. But not bigger than 4/4, ironically, because Sauron is a 4/4 and the Witch King of Angmar is his second in command. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this. This card, I might like to see a 5/5 for 6. Because the Witch King, the same power and toughness as the other Nazgul, potentially doesn't really jive with me. But I'm not going to complain. The cards are already created, and I'm going to find meaning and justification in however they're printed. And I think that's important, is to make sense of the story, because the makers of the card game are in consultation with people that work with Middle-earth Enterprises, and that's more important than what I think. I think this card's good. When he attacks, exile a creature card from a graveyard, and you get it back as a 3/3 attacking wraith, and then you sacrifice it unless Sauron's the ring bearer. So Sauron, here's our first example. Sauron gets more powerful when you're the ring bearer. That's very important. I think that he's going to be one of only a few cards that get very much more powerful when you're the ring bearer. At least that's what I hope. And he's a 4/4 menace for 5 that reanimates a guy that can attack. Tapped and attacking. So really, let's say you cast Sauron on turn 5. Like land for the first 5 turns. So you're attacking on turn 6 with a 4/4, and you're reanimating something which that could be a 1/1. But it's a 3/3. So you're attacking for 7 on turn 6. That's pretty good. Like, that's not game breaking, especially in Commander, but that's pretty good. And it gets more powerful when you're the ring bearer, which I think is the important part. I wish these cards had flavor text. There'd be so much more to read into it. Like what was the card that we did? Like Call of the Ring. So much more to read into when you got the flavor text, right? But this is it, and I think the art is good. I think it'll make for an awesome extended border on Facebook. I think that's a good card. Reanimating's good. Card from your own graveyard, though, hey? It can't be something from somebody else's graveyard, which would make it more powerful. Matt O. Matt O, I hear there's a Commander thing in Edmonton on June 16 to 18. Of course there is. Command Fest Edmonton. Matt O, man, what's up? We'll talk at the LGS on next Thursday. You ask Brando when he gets there. Who else? Delighted Halfling seems to be the fourth card that reads, that spell can't be countered. Yeah, well, frick, only 4 cards say that, and it means it's good. What beer we drinking? Okay, sorry, I've been missing the comments because I've just been jabbering. I got a Kokanee. And this is the official drink of the Lord of the Rings CCO live stream. This is Canadian Club Ginger Ale. It's like rye whiskey and ginger ale. It's super sweet and delicious. It's like drinking candy, which is fantastic. And Nathan, both Bilbo and Gandalf, fun and Niv. Yeah, you're right. Frickin' Niv Mizzet. Last one of the day, folks, because we're well over an hour at this point. Well, not really, but here we go. Wizards Rockets. And here's the thing. Okay, so all of these cards, I saw the regular versions. But now I can't find them. Oh, here, see, look at. Here's the potato phone version. If you're watching the live stream, you can see that was projected on a wall at the Commander party on Friday night of MagicCon Minneapolis. This was the Friday night. That's the regular art. Let's see here. MTG. Let's see if we can find another one. Bilbo Baggins. Let's see. Well, of course, there's 700 different frickin' altars and things and blah, blah, blah. Maybe we won't find that one, but that's the OG one. Let's read what it does. Wizards Rockets. I actually like this card, too. I like how the panorama shows the Smaug firework art. Anyways, artifact 1 enters the battlefield tapped. Sure, sounds terrible so far. X, tap, sacrifice wizard rockets, add X mana of any combination of colors. Okay. When wizards rockets is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Not very powerful, but it does filter your mana, and it does let you cash it in for whatever mana you want and draw a card. I think that's okay. I'm trying to discern whether there's some connection between like if this is just a card that they made, or if there's some thing that they're drawing on from the text. I'm trying to remember the feelings that the fireworks invoke in the hobbits that are there for the party. The culture behind the fireworks, the things that Gandalf is known or remembered for. I'm drawing up blank because the card's not powerful. I like the card. You can spend 1 mana and it does nothing. Then the next turn, you spend 1 mana, tap sacrifice, and get essentially that turn's mana back. Right? You spend a red and you can turn it into a green, draw a card, play a Llanowar Elf or a Delighted Halfling. That's fine. That's just okay. I don't think that this card is going to see play, and because it doesn't see play, I'm trying to find meaning in it to say why, what. And I think it's good. I think it's okay. I think there's ways to double your mana, or like doubling cube, or draw 2 cards, or whatever it is. I think that's fine, but I can't make the connection from the text to the book on this one, just because this one, other than the art, just feels like a regular ass old Magic card, right? But that is... I'm trying to find the other pictures. Screw it. Get out of here, Ryan. Get out of here, Ryan. That's what I got, everybody. What does everybody think? Let me know at CCO Podcast. If you're in the Patreon Discord, you let me know on Discord. CommanderCookout@gmail.com, because we don't have CCOpodcast.com because the Christian Coalition Outreach stole it from us before we even, right? Fantastic time. Thank you to everybody for being here. If there's something that I missed, let me know. If there's some meaning that you've derived, or some piece of the literature that you think relates to the card in a meaningful, important, thematic, or mechanical way, please let me know. I would love to cover it. I want to go that in depth. I spent... how much time did I spend on Bilbo and Frodo and Delighted Halfling? Like 40 minutes on 3 cards, like 20 minutes a card almost. Call of the Ring, we got all into it. We got into Tolkien's phonetic structure. Like, let me know. I want to get that deep into it. I want to do these every Friday, or incorporate them into Commander Cookout's content and Commander Ad Populum's content, where I can expand these as much as possible. It's fantastic. I love it. I wouldn't do it any other way. And if I wasn't live streaming, and if CCO Nation didn't exist, I would be doing it by myself, drinking beer in my basement with my brother, who doesn't even play Magic anyways. So, with that all being said, again, CommanderCookout.com, you can find everything there. Patreon.com/CCO Podcast. Coffee.com/Commander Cookout. Don't forget Instagram. We got the Commander Cookout giveaway. We've got some sleeves, and we've got collector packs. We're giving them away. You just got to like and share, post our stories to your stories to help us grow on that channel. Every Tuesday, Commander Cookout. Every Friday, or every kind of second Friday, is Top 5 and 5. And every Friday is the Lord of the Rings live stream. Again, I love doing this. Fantastic. Share them with your friends. Like, subscribe. Do all the things that YouTube wants you to do. And of course, if you're going to pick anything up, FusionGamingOnline.com. Your source for all your Lord of the Rings, Tales from Middle-earth needs. CCO Summer, new promo code coming up. CCO Summer, new promo code coming up. Command Fest, Edmonton. Gonna be so much fun. Lord of the Rings, CCO Lord of the Rings Two-Headed Giant event on Saturday. Oh man, 2 p.m. So if you're here, if you're going to be in Edmonton, it's going to be fantastic. Let's get all the CCO crowd to play Two-Headed Giant, me and Brando versus the world. He hates everything. I love everything. It's going to be fantastic. Until then, until next week, I guess, I will see you later.